Okay, so 5-speed dirt bike engine go-kart builds. It's been a long time since I made a video on this guy. Last installment was about 10 months ago, and since then not much has happened. I've been busy in school, different state, or I have a full-time job now too, so I've been cleaning up in here too, which is nice. But anywho, what's new with this? Well, not much over here. This engine is still in the same general shape. I don't think I showed cutting off this because I'm going to cut short the exhaust to make it fill out the back. But since the last installment, I have cut out these 4 sliding engine mounts here. At work, I have access to a bridge port, and when it's after hours or whatever, and I don't really have any work to do and it's not obstructing anything, I used a bridge port to mill out some of these pieces here. And the bridge port is actually amazing as far as making fairly accurate parts, because before I would have used a drill press. I would have drilled 2 holes and then used the air tool to cut out the space in between them, and that never really worked right. So I'm glad I was able to do that, and I now have fairly accurate pieces here. I have those tack welded on. I just did that a couple days ago, and the placement looks pretty good. So I think the next thing to do is drill some holes in these side pieces here so the engine can slide back and forth, and then at that point probably be able to bolt it in, test fit it, and maybe at one point or another full weld these. Holes are drilled. I used a tap on them, or I used a punch in them, marked the locations, used a little drill bit to drill a little pilot hole, and I went in with a bigger drill bit, the 5/16, since I didn't have any good, slightly oversized 5/16 drill bits, like 11/32 or something, that actually worked for this. So I might have to finagle it a little bit getting a bolt in, but it lines up pretty well, which is nice. So next thing to do, I think I'm going to put the engine on, see if it lines up, and like that, bolt it down, get the chain mocked up, and then I can finish welding on those engine mounts. Okay, neat. I've got these guys fully welded in. Not great welds, I'm a little bit rusty, but they're not bad. Fairly nice bead right there, but I got these sliding engine mounts welded in fully. And I think next thing to do is put this onto the frame again and bolt it down, and then I think I'm going to try doing something with the exhaust, or maybe one of the cables, the clutch or something like that. So okay, but we have kind of a dilemma here. I'm trying to move on to the next thing, and the engine's nice and mounted, but when I put the exhaust in, this clamp is supposed to go into this flange here and clamp it down nice and tight, but when it's down, the exhaust is still very loose inside there, which means this guy isn't clamping down properly. My guess is that the end of this hose got ground down somehow after use or something like that, so it doesn't protrude far enough in, so you can't really get any clamping ability on it because it's in there too far. So I took part of an old wheel hub, believe it or not. I cut up some pieces like this that I might be able to use to go around there. So you put this on, it clamps it much better. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try and weld those in, actually. Clean all this stuff up, clean these guys up, and weld them in so I can clamp on there better. Well, it doesn't look that pretty, but I think that guy will clamp on much better onto there now. So the exhaust will hopefully not wobble around so much when it's in here. So let's see how that works. Alright, great. That'll clamp much better now, so the exhaust won't wobble around so much. Put the bolts in there, get the exhaust kind of more or less put in position, and then the next step is to probably weld up some sort of attachments to hold the exhaust in place. I think I'm going to make use of these little bolt holes right here, these little mounting holes. So I think I'm going to get a little plate with a hole in it that'll bolt into that, and simply just weld it over the end of here. So it'll hold it up just like that. And then something similar over on this side too. But I think that little plate idea would work well for right now. That looks pretty good. I have one mount right there that's kind of sideways, but on this side I have another mount here that is welded in. Not just actually yesterday, but right angle mount with simply a 1/4 inch bolt going in. Just tack welded that all that stuff in, just in case I need to make some arrangements, or just in case I need to make some changes to that. And I've cut down this tube a bit more. It should go something like this, which kind of protrudes a little bit, but I think I'm okay with that, given there's not much else I can do. And I'm going to build a bar that sticks up with a sliding mount of some sort on the top. So when you move the engine back and forth, the exhaust has to move with it, so that you'll actually be able to slide it still. And I think a basic setup for that is to use probably just square tubing coming up, and then some sort of other metal piece going horizontally with slots in it, so I can slide back and forth like that. I think that'll be my best bet. So I'm gonna go see what magic I can work with that. Not my prettiest work, but it's not too bad. It's gonna be too hot to touch, but that's gonna go right there. And then I think I'm gonna cut up some of this stuff to length